Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Here we are on another day of Warriors of the Velvet Rope podcast. We're here today with Mr. Jeff Chan. Jeff Chan is a one championship fighter. One championship was another sort of a UFC kind of a thing. In case you weren't sure, he was pretty damn successful. But he's changed some things. He's still a big fighter. He's now a YouTuber. Hard to believe you go from the fighting to the YouTubing. But he's a YouTuber. He goes all around the world. He's got like over 500,000 people who watch and subscribe to him. He likes to travel, so he goes from place to place all over the world, now finds himself into someone else's gym so that he can get exposure to what they're teaching, and so that he can not expose them, but give them exposure to what they're doing, where they're at, and how it all works out. I've spoken with him before. He is a fantastically good guy. He's going to be on the cover of the 13th edition coming up towards the end of the first week, beginning of the second week of June. The 13th edition, fantastic guy. And you guys should look out for this one. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
So we explained already some of the things that you've done. Why don't you tell us about your career, how you started, whether you're a boxer, a martial artist, how it all started for you, and just give us a bit about how your life moved forward with the fighting aspect of what you're doing.
Sure. So I started training when I was about 15, and I started with Muay Thai. When I started to transition into MMA, that's when I started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. That's like a given. Anybody who does MMA does Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and wrestling. For my path, although I trained all three of those martial arts, when I started my YouTube channel, as you've mentioned, I kind of got into like a little, path where I started training different martial arts, and I started adding to my game. So now I got karate in my background. I got a bit of boxing, got a bit of Krav Maga, got a bit of JKD, judo, etc. So one of my things is I like to vlog my martial arts journey. So I don't see myself as a fighter. I see myself as just a martial artist who, is trying to train every day, trying to get better. But fighting is just kind of like a bonus. So for me, I started my YouTube channel as a way to vlog my martial arts journey. So whenever I learn something new or whenever I'm sparring, I'll film it. So I kind of like add to my little collection so I can look back. It's also a great way to kind of learn from my mistakes. Just like you can watch fight footage and see what you're doing wrong, I did the same thing with my sparring footage. And essentially, I've developed a reputation through YouTube, through my sparring videos. People love watching me spar, and that kind of gave me the idea to start traveling to different gyms and not just sparring people in my hometown gym, but to travel at different gyms, not only to get better, but again, to be exposed, as you're saying, to all these different levels of people. So I got to spar with UFC fighters in Korea, Japan, Thailand, etc. And I think it's just a great way to learn and continue growing.
So, that's fantastic. So I think you and I both missed something big. What's the name of your YouTube channel? Which is what I should have said first, and you should have said first.
The name is MMA Shredded.
MMA
Shredded.
Shredded. So that's it, folks. For all of you watching us and listening, MMA Shredded. Be on the lookout for it. Okay, so sir, do you have anything to add? Ask any questions right away?
Oh, first of all, it's wonderful to have you on the show, Jeff. And we really thank you for being here. We thank Greg Zill, Shifu Greg Zill, for putting us together, and so excited to have you aboard for this edition, the 13th edition. Just wanted, as a person in the martial arts for 55 years and doing a lot of what you did. I just did it differently. I was karate my whole life and a fighter also. And I used to travel to dojos just like you. And but back then we didn't log it. Back in the 70s and 80s, we didn't log any of it. We just did it. My question for you is, what is your ultimate goal?
Honestly, my ultimate goal is to kind of be the best version of myself, as cheesy as that sounds. I want to just keep getting better every day. For me, fighting is not so important. For me, focusing on myself and helping others. So nowadays, obviously, you guys didn't have that the opportunity back in the days, but nowadays, everyone can go online and learn, and there's access to YouTube. And for me, with my platform, I'm able to reach thousands, if not millions, sometimes depending on the videos. And every day I get people messaging me on Instagram or YouTube or email saying that, hey, I watched the video today, I'm inspired to start training, or I'm inspired to get back into training, or I watch your videos before sparring. So I've become a guy who inspires and motivates people to get in shape or just train martial arts. And that's kind of what pushes me to keep doing what I'm doing.
If you had to estimate how many countries you've been to, more or less, how many countries you think you've been to?
I would say I've been all over Asia. Maybe there's a few countries within Asia that I haven't been to. I mean, there's probably can't name all the countries in Asia. Been around Europe, been around the States, and yeah, I don't know really how much countries per se. Just I've been around, and I'm still going to be traveling a lot.
Good. Because a lot of people would probably ask that,
Gotcha.
want to know that because it's fascinating to know that you've done that, because not too many people have the opportunity to be able to do that. And there's not a lot of guys talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And they'll say, oh, I spar with this guy and spar with that guy. But, you never know. Now we have the opportunity. I wish back in the days we had this opportunity to have a platform like this to be able to, share our journey. But unfortunately, we didn't. So we take the advantage of having a gentleman like yourself, class act that very sincere in what you're doing. That's what the magazine's all about, integrity. And that's all I'm hearing from you. A lot of honor, a lot of integrity, a lot of a lot of selflessness.
Well, to answer your question in a different way, if you go to my YouTube channel, everyone can find all my sparring breakdowns. So I'm the type of guy that posts everything, win or lose. Like if I get hit or I hit successful or failed attempts, I put everything for everyone to see. I believe that's really important, because I would say one of the reasons why I am at the number of people that follow me, because people can relate to me. So I'm not the type to just put like highlight reel of me winning, right? I need to show them that I lose all the time, because nobody's perfect, and I'm not this perfect person. I'm someone who loses all the time. And for people to relate to me, they also need to see that, not just the good side. We need to see the bad side as well. So with that said, if you want to see how many countries I've been to and how many gyms I've traveled around the world, you can check out my YouTube channel, because I post every sparring video I ever get.
Very good. It's more for our readers. I'm with you 100%. It's more for our readers, because they're going to ask these questions, and what I'm seeing is a lot of humility, and that's needed in the martial arts, period. So many of us, we want, instructors want to brag, and they want to act like they're number one at everything they're doing, and don't want to show their faults, want to talk about everybody else's fault but their own, and it's nice to hear a gentleman like you, speaking from your heart. This, for me as a father of 8, and I have sons probably older than you. My oldest son is 45 years old. And, and hearing you speak like this is motivating me. It's very nice to hear the humility in which you're speaking with. And I wish there was a lot more less arrogant martial artists. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Jeff, I got a question for you. All the countries you've been to, all the places, win, lose, learn, everything. What were some of the places that you've learned more from, like an individual, whether it's a school or a person? And where have you soaked up more knowledge, like from somebody who was just fantastic? Maybe it was the system, perhaps it was the individual. Can you say this guy in this place?
I would say the two places that stood out for me was Thailand. Thailand is known for Muay Thai. It's a national sport. If you go to Thailand, there's gyms all over the place, and they're full of hidden gems. And when I say hidden gems, I mean there's legends everywhere, and they're unknown to the Western world. But those guys have had like 300 fights and fought since they're 5 years old, and nobody knows about them. But if you go there, you get the opportunity to train with them, and I've learned so much from going to Thailand in general. And I would say the second place would be Korea. Very, very disciplined, hardworking fighters over there. And I would say, mean, I've been to Thailand about 5 or 6 times, so I actually got to train with a lot of Thais. With Korea, I've been there once so far, and the most I've got out of it was just attending the classes and how they structure the classes and what they teach. And it's just, they're very hardworking people.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Jake, you have anything you want to throw in here?
I was gonna throw in that Jeff just mentioned Ty and Dad recently just had a conversation with Tony Jaa, and apparently we're kind of popular in Thailand. So I think that would be good to get some footage out there in Thailand. But my question is, what challenges have you faced in your career as a YouTuber or MMA fighter?
Challenges, I would say trying to do everything at once is tough. I think a lot of viewers out there who watch MMA don't understand how hard it is to fight, how much dedication, time, and commitment you need to put, how much sacrifice you need to sacrifice to fight, right? It's not just, hey, I'm going to go into train and then I'm going to take a fight. No, you got to stop a lot of things that's happening in your life and dedicate most of the day to training every day for a single fight. And I would say when I fight, I need to sacrifice my channel because I'm not making as much content and I'm not working. So I got to sacrifice time and money to train. And in terms of the YouTube channel, I would say it's a very slow start. So the biggest challenge for anybody out there who wants to start a YouTube channel is it takes a very, I would say it took me like 3-4 years before I got any momentum going. So you really got to be patient and consistent and really love what you're doing. So when I started my YouTube channel, it wasn't something that I had planned. It was kind of like I had a friend that gave me the idea and I started the channel just as a way to journalize my martial arts journey, but I had no expectations of it blowing up. And obviously with consistency, one day I did see that big jump. And then I was like, hey, maybe I can start doing this full time. And here I am now.
So the concerning the MMA Shredded YouTube channel, are you doing this all alone? Are you filming alone? Are you setting up your camera when you go to these places, or do you have a buddy or someone that works with you or for you that's actually moving around and doing this stuff?
So when I first started, it was by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But now my fiance helps me with the business and the channel. She helps me film and she helps me with the business end of things. So the back end stuff, the website, how things looks like the fonts and little things like that. But in terms of the content itself and the filming, it's pretty much me doing everything, the editing. Okay.
Have you gotten any backlash from some instructors from anywhere in the world that have said, why are you coming here? To feel maybe, I assume you'd contact them in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're not just showing up going, we're going to shoot a video here.
No. So I'd say I'm pretty professional about it. I will reach out to them by email ahead of time. And I don't think I've ever had a gym say no.
Okay.
I think that every gym owner knows by now that it's great exposure for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm usually very welcome. I would say though, when I attend a pro team sparring class, some challenges that I would get is that, we get those tough guys who want to knock my head off. They see the camera, they don't know who I am. So they think maybe I'm trying to put a highlight reel out of them and embarrass them. So they go really hard. So I have a few sparring videos up on my channel where the sparring looks like an absolute fight.
Yeah, that was my next question, actually. That was going to be my next question. Did any of them try to, like out Rocky you, if you will?
I've had quite a few times where that happened.
Okay. Yeah, that's got to be a little difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know what? My fiance absolutely hates it and tells me that I need to kind of just walk away from it. But at the same time, whenever there is hard sparring, it gets a lot of views. So
yeah,
I usually kind of let it go.
So you've got over 500,000 subscribers. What's your biggest, viewer base? Like what was your biggest watched video? Like what was the numbers like? What were they?
I would say the most viewed video was 8 million.
8 million.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
it's what's really funny was it wasn't a special video. It was a video of me draining my ear, which is kind of funny. But I have quite a few hard sparring videos that hit 1 million views. As I was saying, hard sparring usually grabs the attention of a lot of viewers.
Okay. And the draining of your ear, is that something you're doing yourself, like over the sink, or do you have to go to a doctor?
I had a friend who was not qualified do it for me. So maybe that's why people were all about it.
And how did that turn out? Did he do okay, or?
I think so. Well,
Okay.
depends if you think that's okay.
Right.
I can't imagine what happened if you blow your nose.
Yeah, right.
I have blown my nose one time and my eye puffed up.
Yeah, I had the same thing all the time, just from sparring with one of my teachers. Yep, same thing.
Yeah.
Got hit in the face, and it cracked the lower orbital, and I didn't know. I knew my head was hurting, and then later on, when we were cleaning up, I went to blow my nose, and the whole thing blew up like a balloon. And I got to tell you, I don't get scared easily. It threw me. I threw my body back. It was crazy. I didn't know what was going on. I thought someone hit me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, that's similar to my experience.
Yeah. How about injuries during the course of? Have you been hurt during the YouTube stuff or prior to?
I would say my worst injury was breaking my nose. I've broken my nose 3 times. I actually got quite a funny story for you. So the first time I broke my nose was just through training with a friend. He had me in the clinch, full clinch, and I guess at the time I was very inexperienced, and I put my head down and I tried to pull out, and he kneed me right in the nose. So my nose was pretty crooked. And then the second time I was training for a rematch, and I guess my sparring partner at the time was a heavyweight and just cracked me right in the nose, broke my nose a second time. And my nose, I kid you not, was slanted. If I could find a photo, I'll send it to you. And then I fought in Thailand after that. And the Thai fighter I fought had 80 fights, and he basically stitched me up. He gave me 13 stitches across my face, and the fight had to end because there was too much blood. But he straightened my nose. So I've broken my nose 3 times, and my nose looks pretty decent.
It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. Yeah.
But it's just funny because he literally broke my nose back into a straight angle.
I think you should thank him.
I should.
Oh, Nathan, anything else, sir?
No. Jacob, what about you?
I have one final question. How do you feel about these? How do you say, like, these fights that are going on, as far as like Jake Paul, football players, celebrities? How do you feel about fights like this that are happening now?
I think it can be a bit unfair for the guys who have put a lot of their time into their careers and cannot get like a pay-per-view spot. But with that said, I would say it's good for the sport. I think those guys are bringing in a lot of money and is bringing a lot more attention. And I think MMA fighters are underpaid. And by having these guys pop up, the sport's growing, and that's one of the ways that fighters will get paid more.
Right.
Do you think people are watching because he's a great fighter, or because they're waiting to see him get handled?
So with Jake Paul specifically, at first I was watching to see him get handled, but now he's starting to grow on me. The truth is, the guy is super athletic. He works hard. He's got the resources to train with the best fighters, and he's not bad. And I look forward to seeing him fight. But like I said at the beginning, I thought he was just a troll, and I did not like him. But he's growing on me.
What's the chance of you and him doing a little something, even just on your videos?
Oh, I would love to, but I think he's way, way too big for me.
You never know.
Physically too big for you, or say again?
Oh, I'm saying if he's willing to make a video with me, spar with me, whatever that is, I would 100% be down for it. But in terms of numbers, he's a lot bigger than me.
Well, I think, all right, anybody who's listening out there that happens to know Jake Paul, our new dear friend, Jeff Chan, is ready to rock and roll.
Yes, sir.
When the magazine come out, we'll send him a cover of the mag. We'll send him a magazine.
Yeah.
Tell him you're challenged.
He must be on Instagram, so maybe we can tag him
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
this particular
we'll do
video
that.
and see if he watches it. And if he does, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe we'll get lucky.
Maybe.
By the way, you look great on the cover, Jeff.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Did you see
Can't
it?
wait to see it.
You haven't seen it?
No, I have not.
Don't show it to him. Don't show it to him.
I'm not showing it to him. I'm just letting him know. He looks really good.
Right.
Looks
Thank
really
you.
good.
And Dae-sun is a tremendous writer. So it's going to get a lot of good words in there. Every bit of
Awesome.
it. You'll be
I
very
have
happy.
one more question.
Yeah.
This is the last question. Have you ever been on a cover of a magazine before?
No, this will be my first time, so
Yes.
I'm pretty excited.
We did it first. Yes.
That's right. Good. So we'll plug you in, you plug us in, and we'll see how it turns out for us all.
Absolutely. You bet I'll be plugging it in.
Great, man.
Yeah.
Great. Okay,
Yeah.
with that being said, we're good.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, man.
Not at all. You have a grand day, brother. You have a great
You
day.
too. See you guys
Okay.
later, and just don't hesitate to message me if you need anything from me.
On
got it.
WhatsApp. On WhatsApp.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, works.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you,
All
guys.
right. Bye-bye.